everyone. What a pleasure to be here in such a large group and fighting all the traffic. I want to start by asking a question. How many folks in the room are CEOs? Oh, okay. Does that help? Is it any better? Okay. How many CEOs do we have in the room? Okay, we have a few. How many other folks are in leadership roles in the agency? All right, good, good. So then talking about leadership and synergy will make sense. How many folks are QI or QA staff? Ah, good. Welcome. Wonderful. All right. Let's see if I can master this morning, how well this goes. Ah, am I the wrong way? Ah, there we go. I want to start by saying when I think about Illinois, and I've been working here in the state of Illinois since the mid-1990s, three words come to my mind, three things that I associate with Illinois. And I will tell you, I live in Tallahassee, Florida today, but I've done my most interesting and exciting work in the state of Illinois, so I feel like I have dual citizenship with both states. Innovation is something that is a part of the character of child welfare and human services in Illinois. You all have tried a number of really great efforts, your accreditation efforts, and we may have a variety of opinions about what's the quality of accreditation these days, but this state has been pioneers in being accredited and the reaccreditation in that process. Also with performance-based contracting, that's another place that a lot of states look to Illinois for innovation and innovative ideas. Another one is collaboration. Through the CWAC process, through the Child Care Association, through the public agency, private agency, problem solving. How many of you are involved in residential or independent living services? Okay. I'm serving as the evaluator for the federal project on performance-based contracting right now. So we're attending the meetings and looking at that process. That's an amazing collaboration, and the eyes of the nation are watching to see what they can learn from our process. So the innovation and the collaboration. And then the third one I wrote down is personality, because this state has more characters than a Carl Hiaasen book. There are a lot of characters, and there's a lot of passion with that in the state of Illinois. So that always makes it a fun place to work. Today I want to commend you on your past progress and urge you forward in this new and interesting collaboration that we're going to undertake around quality improvement. What I did, I put together a series of quotes that have meant something to me that I thought sort of made sense in light of this discussion. And I'm going to start with John F. Kennedy and talk about leadership and learning and how they're indispensable to one another. And before I do that, one of the things I had meant to say was, while it's a pleasure to be here in person, I also wanted to welcome and say thank you to the folks who will see me on video, which is really interesting, at the other meetings. I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and for those who see this by video, please still answer these questions and think about it. How many of you have had training of some sort in continuous quality improvement? Okay, a good number. That's wonderful. When Yolanda comes back and talks about the study that her group did in Illinois, she's going to talk a lot about how there haven't been a lot of opportunities for training. How many of you has that training been through COA? Okay. How many have come to a training that I've done, a Child Care Association? Okay. So there have been a few opportunities, but I think one thing we all know, there are not a lot of opportunities. There are not a lot of programs for us to learn about continuous quality improvement. And people who do this for a job are often lonely because most agencies don't have multiple people who are the QI staff. And so one of the things that we want to do through this process is really bring people together for learning. How many of you have a book on your shelf about CQI? Okay, how many of you have my book on your shelf about CQI? Thank you, thank you, thank you. There aren't a lot of books geared to our business on CQI, unfortunately, either. And so a lot of times we're left to sort of figure this out on our own and just put things together and hope for the best. Okay, if you're a CEO or a leader, one of the questions I want to ask you is what opportunities you've created for your staff to learn more and improve their skills. And as a leader, what opportunities have you taken upon yourself to learn more so that you can lead that process better? When I interview staff that do CQI work, they tell me their number one concern and barrier and challenge is leadership isn't interested. Leadership doesn't really want to get involved. Leadership doesn't really want to champion the process. And if leadership doesn't champion the process, that process never takes hold because people look to the leaders, and they're not always the CEO, but there are leaders in each group. And what they do and what their attitude is has a tremendous influence on what people believe they need to do. So I implore you, so many of you raised your hands as leaders, to really think about what opportunities you're creating, what enthusiasm and passion you're bringing for the QI process. Okay. All right, Stephen Covey is another one, and I think probably everyone has seen this quote somewhere, knowing whether you put that ladder against the right wall. Leadership is about making sure it's against the right wall. How many of you have a CQI, your CQI reports directly to the CEO and is charged with looking at all areas of agency performance? Okay, Karen, raise your hand. That's true in our case too. Good. Okay, so it is happening in a number of places. Why do you suppose that matters? Why does that CQI unit need to report to the CEO and have that kind of autonomy? Does anyone want to venture an answer? Someone who raised their hand? Why would that matter?
It's important that she knows what's going on in her organization. In fact, it's important that she knows the breakdown of what's going on in each program.
Tell me your first name.
Vera.
Vera just made a really important point. And she said her CEO needs to know what's happening in each program and across all of the areas. In business, people are looking at balanced scorecards, and they're looking at mechanisms that look at their human resources, that look at their financial bottom line, that look at their customer satisfaction and input, and also look at the outcomes and bring all of that data together into information. And that's a place, that's our next frontier. How do we take all this data? We finally have some data. But how do we make it information? And really, the CQI needs to be at the lead of that, and they need to be able to look at everything because turnover is a huge problem. And so if we don't have that freedom to look at everything, we're going to miss a lot of things. And it's impossible without somebody to bring that data together into information to really be able to lead your agency in the right direction. And so that's something that a CQI unit should do. And that's why these folks need some training and support.